It is the Riot Podcast. Good day and welcome to the Monday edition. And more importantly, the edition where Nikki is back.
Hey, hi everybody.
Hello, welcome back, Nikki.
Thank you. Good to be back. Good to be back for another podcast.
Yes. So
you didn't burn the ship down, so good job, guys.
We made it happen,
Of course not. We had a couple close calls.
Some people maybe jumped the ship and didn't burn it down.
We didn't burn it.
I appreciate that.
But you will hear about Nikki's time off and what she was doing with it later on in the podcast. But we didn't get too deep into what Isaiah and I went through while Nikki was gone. Isaiah, what would you say?
I thought you were going to make some sort of montage of like me hearing your favorite clips or...
We were working on something like that.
It didn't work.
Didn't quite get there. Per usual.
Typical.
What do you feel like really worked while I was gone?
Good question. I mean, a lot of the times...
Was it too bro-ish or...
I think the thing that worked the most is like I was on there a lot. And that was really good.
People do love hearing you more.
I'll tell you that it was mentioned to us early on not to make the show too masculine, too bro-ish when you were gone. So we went out of our way to discuss a lot of feminine topics.
Oh,
yeah,
nice
give our
guys.
opinion.
Oh, that's
give our
worse.
opinion on what women should want.
No, that's the worst.
No.
So we kept it real feminine.
That was like the one day, was that when the person said you two sounded high?
I don't know, probably.
No, I was talking about rockets falling out of the sky and hitting planes. I saw that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's kind of just normal for
I
us.
could still see everybody's text messages, so I kind of gauged every morning. I'm like, well, I don't think they said anything too annoying.
I don't think we said anything too horrible, but we talked a lot of like women's basketball just happened to be in the news, so that worked out well for us. We got to talk about that, and we also talked about, and we wish you were here for this, was The Little Mermaid. They're changing some of the lyrics to the songs in the new movie.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not so problematic.
Yeah.
And we didn't really need you for that, actually, because Isaiah and I were just able to handle it.
Yeah, we handled it all.
Oh,
We said
no
it's not
issues.
problematic, you know?
You did.
Shocker.
We said the old songs were fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud of you both for handling it during the time.
I don't even know what the right answer would be. Nikki, what's the right answer? Are we supposed to have a problem with the old Little Mermaid or not?
They wanted to fix the song Kiss the Girl. Because it's not asking to kiss the girl, it's telling her to kiss him.
I think you're going at it saying by fixing it, you're automatically making it seem like there was a big problem with it, where a lot of people grew up with that movie and it wasn't problematic.
But that's the problem.
Then, I would have just been like, what do you guys think?
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should you just kiss the girl or should you ask her if you can kiss her?
No, what do you girls think?
What do you ladies
you're right.
think?
You're
okay,
right.
because I don't care what you guys think.
Yeah.
That's right.
No
I think you should just kiss the girl. If you're asking me, just kiss her.
So okay, I'll have to go back and find that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. So yeah, we had a lot of fun while you were gone, but it's also a lot of fun having you here.
Happy to be back.
Yeah. And I think we should just let the rest of the podcast speak for itself.
Okay.
Rock on.
All right. Well, everybody enjoy the podcast. Make sure you text and say hi at 877-2-RADIO-U. We'd love to hear from you, or join us at Radio U Riot on our Facebook page. And of course, subscribe at our Radio U Riot YouTube channel.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
See you guys.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
Nikki is back in the building. Good morning, Nikki.
Hey, I meant to ask, what's up with your voice?
What do you mean? It sounds like it always sounds.
It just found, maybe I just haven't heard it in a bit. But
Yeah.
it's a little bit more gravelly.
You go away for 2 weeks, you forget how my voice sounds?
Apparently.
Yeah, this is just what it is.
Okay.
And I don't think that any more attention should be paid to it.
So just ignore it.
Yeah, I think you should just pretend
That is perfectly fine.
That it's no big deal.
All right, I can totally do that.
And I don't want to take the spotlight away with my gravelly voice from you being back here.
Yay, I missed everybody.
Yeah, we've got to hear about your time off and your
Sure.
vacation and everything, which I do have coming up in a little bit, but I want to know specifically about your Easter.
Oh, yeah.
Did anything exciting happen?
No, which was good.
Okay, so just a standard
Just
Easter.
standard Easter.
Any good food on the Easter menu?
I did a one Easter thing on Saturday, and we got a Texas Roadhouse
Ooh,
order.
I also had some Texas Roadhouse recently.
That was pretty good. And then we did another Easter yesterday with like Easter ham, and that was also good. So like it was a good weekend.
That sounds like a great weekend. I had for my Easter menu, it was, it was a good Easter and everything, but it also included camel meat.
Camel?
Camel meat was on the menu.
Do you want to ride the camel? That sort of camel meat?
Well, yeah. What other camels are there?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know if
the cigarettes. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I didn't know if there was another option. Like that's a luncheon meat that was just poorly named. It's not camel.
Yeah.
Like you had camel?
I had actual camel from the the animal with the humps.
Yeah. Why?
Why not?
Well, why?
Is there anything wrong with it?
Why would you? I still think is the better question, but that's fine.
It was pretty indiscernible. I think we had it as meatballs with a sauce.
Really?
You would never know.
Okay,
you would never know it was camel.
Someone brought that to the party?
Yeah, my mom.
Your mom did?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a Canadian delicacy.
No, it's not.
It is.
It is not.
They love camel in Canada.
No, they don't.
Yeah, it's a tradition.
A camel meatball?
The Easter tradition.
Oh, you're so weird.
Yeah. I wouldn't have known, though, if it wasn't told to me.
And I know you're teasing. It can't be a tradition because it's the first time you had it.
It is. That's right.
So
Why
I know
would
you're
I
not
bring it
telling
up?
the truth.
If it was a tradition, why would I even mention it?
Weird. Well, I mean, you had a day then.
It was an interesting Easter. I can't say that I don't know, based on the cost and the health benefits, is camel better than ground beef or any other meat? I don't know. But is it a worthwhile substitute? Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not that bad to throw that in the mix.
Yeah.
Meaning boy, the prices of beef are just so much.
That's right.
But camel remains low.
It could be not camel remains. I don't want to. Don't put it that way. Yeah, that's not what I want.
Well, weird. All right. Well, I come back and I feel like you're just not the Hudson I know.
Person.
You're a different person.
It was the camel that changed me. It's the Devil Wears Prada.
Do you feel more hydrated?
Actually, maybe that's my problem.
Is that it?
Yeah.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on RadioU.
I'm the type of guy that loves to sing, and I'm not shy about it. I'll just belt out a few bars whenever the mood strikes me.
And I think you're actually really good at it.
Oh, thank you.
You're very good.
Oh, I appreciate that.
In a jazzy sort of jingle singing way.
Yeah. I knew I missed having you here for some reason.
Does it make you feel better?
Yeah. But even I know that there are some places you don't sing. One, a funeral unless you're asked. Two, a stage play.
Yeah.
Unless you're on stage, you do not sing along at a musical production.
Unless it's a sing-along style like
That's
Broadway
right.
show, but you would know if you were there.
Anywhere where they have to point out when it is a sing-along means that when it's not a sing-along, you don't sing along.
Sure, I thought we all knew that.
Apparently not in the UK, where over the weekend they had to shut down a production of the play based off of the movie The Bodyguard. Mm-hmm. That's an old movie. What was that? Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Kevin Costner's in it. And, of course, The Bodyguard, famous for having Whitney Houston's rendition of I Will Always Love You, which, of course, I would sing right now.
No, I mean...
But it wouldn't do Whitney
justice.
Or Dolly Parton, who originally sang the song. It wouldn't do them justice.
Not when your voice is not at its top.
No, not at 100%. So
I watched the TikTok of them kicking the ladies out.
Uh-huh.
It was just like, what's going on?
They
were violent.
They didn't know when to shut up. Because they would not stop every time. It was literally that song, which I'll admit, hard not to sing along with it. But when that song, I Will Always Love You, was coming up in the production, a few members of the crowd continually tried to sing along, which drew the rest of the crowd to get upset because they're there to hear the performers sing it. Not you, random lady.
They almost made it seem like it wasn't just that they were singing along, but they were trying to be the singers.
Yeah.
So overtake the stage production.
That's right. And that's different from singing along too. That
Correct.
definitely is. So at this production in Manchester in the UK, it got so out of hand that between the people singing, the people telling them not to sing, that they say it turned into a mini riot. And they had to shut down everything.
Do we get money for that?
And usually a mini riot would be good because it's one of us, but in this case, not good because it was just a brawl.
And these look like older ladies.
Yeah.
These were older ladies too old to be doing this.
They should know better.
Because again, I only saw the video of them being removed from the stage. It was also like, it seemed like if you ever go to a theater production, like there's the top seats and they're at more of an angle.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and you're in the balcony. And so I was just like, let's stop fighting near the top of the balcony so that you don't get, fall over.
That's right. That's not a good place to start a fight.
Well, I wouldn't think so, but they did not want to leave.
Now, do you know if the videos on TikTok you saw, they could have been from Manchester or they could have been from Glasgow, which is in Scotland, where they've had to shut it down before as well, the same production, because of incidents of theater goers trying to out-sing the actors on stage.
What a problem. No, I think this one is the two old ladies.
Well,
it's the ones that had to be removed.
It's a repeated issue at multiple venues in the UK. If you go see the Bodyguard musical production, you got to keep your mouth shut and let Melody Thornton, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls, just do her thing and sing the songs and not you.
I just don't understand people, because if I was asked to stop doing something, I would just stop doing it. But these people would not, they just didn't care.
They just want the spotlight on themselves. It's their big chance. If they sing well enough in the crowd, maybe they'll get asked to star in the next play of the Bodyguard.
I don't think they sang well enough.
But they don't realize that.
I know, they didn't know, and everybody told them, but I don't think it was enough.
Yeah.
While Isaiah is wishing for a girlfriend, Nikki and Hudson are just wishing for any friend at all. The Riot. RadioU.
Nikki is back for our Monday tradition.
I was excited to find out how the box office went.
Yeah, we missed having you for the box office breakdown.
You missed my take on things.
Yeah.
No, I don't plan on seeing anything.
That's right. That's what we did miss that. Hey, by the way, before we get to the numbers, did you watch John Wick 4 yet?
No, and I didn't watch Mario Brothers yet either.
Well, I did.
You did?
I watched Mario.
Oh, okay. They meant John Wick.
No, yeah, I got the other John Wicks to watch still.
Sure.
So I can't go into 4 without 2 and 3 also under my belt. But I did watch Mario. I was one of the many that went and saw it. Isaiah and I, when we gave our predictions on Friday, we were way off.
Oh, you thought okay, how much money did you think it was going to make?
Yeah, I thought Isaiah said 60 million.
60 million?
I said, Isaiah, you're crazy. It's going to make more than John Wick 4.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much more because I predicted 100 million. And in fact, if you count going back to Wednesday, Mario has made over $204 million just in North America alone.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's made a ton of money, and that's not including internationally, where between the money it's made in the U.S. and overseas, the Super Mario Brothers movie, it looks like it has the biggest opening weekend for an animated film of all time.
$377 million.
Even more, beat out Frozen 2 is what previously had the record. Now, this is curious, though. In the United States, The Incredibles 2 had a bigger opening weekend for an animated movie just in North America.
Yeah.
But overall, all the money in the first weekend, Super Mario Brothers movie, the best opening weekend for an animated movie ever.
So they say, that's the movie for this year so far.
It's the big one.
Top movie for that.
Now that I've seen it, was it justified?
Was it good?
It was okay.
Well, that's all you want sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be any better than that.
It's, I guess you don't need to expect much from a Mario movie. It's the type of movie that if it wasn't Mario and it was the same plot line and writing, you'd be like, this is you're suffering through it, I think. But because it's Mario and it's fun enough, and the cast is good, although, I say the cast is good. Jack Black is good.
Oh, you liked him as Bowser?
He did a great job as Bowser. Everything else, pretty much replaceable. You could have put anybody as Mario. It probably would have been just as good as Chris Pratt. Sorry, Chris Pratt. But it was an okay movie.
Sure.
I enjoyed it. It was short enough. It was colorful enough to keep my attention.
No, I mean, sometimes that's all a movie has to be.
That's right.
They don't have to try any more than that.
That when it's Mario, you don't have to try that much.
You got to make sure your first movie's low enough so that more Mario Brothers movies can maybe get better.
That's right. And there is I'll just say, if you stay all the way till the end, after all the credits, there is a teaser that sets up what they're going to do with a future Mario movie. And so I guess, spoiler alert, Mario doesn't die.
Phew.
Yeah.
Didn't think they would do that.
And so they are definitely planning, especially after this big weekend, they're planning on making more.
Did they have, what was the rest of the box office?
John Wick and Dungeons and Dragons came in a virtual tie for second place, each making a little over $14 more million. And then fourth place was the other new release. That's Air. That's the new Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, the Nike story.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of ads for that.
And Isaiah and I both overestimated how much that would make because it only got about 20 million all told throughout the weekend, which is not a lot.
Well, if anybody saw outside of Hudson, the Mario Brothers movie, John Wick, and I was even curious about the Dungeons and Dragons one, because I mean, that came out when I was on vacation, so I wasn't planning on going to see it, but it looked good. I just didn't know if it was actually good.
The reviews were pretty positive for the Dungeons and Dragons movie, but it did have a disappointing opening weekend as far as the numbers go in the U.S., so I don't know if that's ever going to get another shot to make another one or not, but a good weekend. And I didn't even I also watched Cocaine Bear this weekend.
You did?
Yeah, that was a big weekend for me.
What did you do?
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
Isn't it crazy how when you're at your most desperate times is when people try to prey on you the most?
Yeah.
Like people try to take advantage at the time when you're at your weakest. I mean, that's how a lot of people find a lot of their success is just picking on the person that's at the end of their rope.
I think they think it's an opening.
Yeah.
To be able to get what they want, and it's not always good.
Often it usually works. I think of like the worst example, at least the one that's top of mind, because I know some people that have done this, is when you really run out of money and then you have to take like one of those crazy loans where you're paying more interest on the loan than the actual loan is for.
Sure.
And that's but when you need the money, you feel like you're forced into that. And it's crazy that companies are able to do that.
Instead of for a company being like, well, we see you're having difficulty, so let us help you more than we normally would.
And to be fair, there are oftentimes, it's just hard to find, but there are people, if you are at the end of your rope, that are out there to help you. But there's also a lot more people when you're at the end of your rope that are trying to take advantage of you and use that to their own advantage. But here's the great news, that when you are desperate, that God is not going to prey on you and take advantage of you. God is there for desperate people. Jesus is there to help you at your most desperate times when you do feel like you're at the end of your rope. And unlike so many people and so many companies and whatever, God is not going to be like, well, I can help you now, but it's going to cost you.
We're going to need you to sign here.
Yeah, and you're going to be in a worse situation a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple whatever from now because I stepped in and helped. That's not what Jesus does. He's going to help you time and time again at no cost, no charge, and no matter how many times you have to ask, Jesus is going to be there to help you out.
And it's the type of help where, sometimes someone helps you and they let you know that they're helping you.
That's right.
And they don't
rub it
let
in
you
your
forget.
face a little.
Yeah. Like it's almost not the nicest. And this is where it's like you just don't even realize that you are being helped.
That's right.
Because it's such a kind, loving way.
I think of the Seinfeld episode where Jerry owes Banya a meal. You know what I'm talking about.
Seinfeld is
clearly, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do, Hudson. Yes. I do know that part.
And then he's like, the soup isn't a meal. He takes Banya out, takes soup and pays, and then Banya says, soup isn't a meal. Yeah, that's what some people will do. They'll help you out one time, you owe them, and then they never let you live it down. But that's not how Jesus is. He's really going to help you over and over and over again, as many times as you need it, as big or small as the help you need. Start talking to God. Ask for that help. See how it goes. And if you want to know more, check out RadioU.com/free gift.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Now that you're back and the gang's all here, we need to hear everything about your trip and your time off, starting with the ocean horse.
Oh, yeah. I went horseback riding in the ocean. They're called seahorses.
We saw pictures of that.
Yeah.
And my first question was, how do you even find out that you can do that?
Well, I went to the beach like most days. I was in Florida. And you just go to the beach. And where I was at, you go across these bridges. And on the left side, is like jet skis and like party rentals. And on the right side was all these horses.
So you went with the horses? I wouldn't have went that route. I would have went jet skis for sure.
And I was like, hey, what are the horses all doing there? And it's a popular thing. There's a couple companies that just park along the side of the bridge, and you have to set it up, and you just go horseback riding in the ocean. So you swim with them.
How deep do the horses get? Like, will they go like neck deep?
They'll
like, were you ever
swim.
like waist deep?
Yeah, oh yeah, they'll swim, and you just hold on.
They're just swimming.
They're just swimming.
Crazy.
I didn't know
Otherwise,
horses
you're
could
just
swim.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they love it. I guess the ocean water is really nice for their skin because these were retired circus horses. So there's a nice story with it, too.
I don't know. It sounds like all the stuff that the company tells you.
They feed you?
Yeah, horses actually hate it.
They love to swim, trust me.
Yeah.
No, they love it.
Much better than what they used to do in the circus.
Yeah,
that was cruel, but this is okay.
The one person they did say they like to keep working.
Yeah, they love working.
Exactly.
They're working animals.
The truth slips out, doesn't it?
It does, but it's so much fun, and I haven't been horseback riding since I was little, Nikki. So that was different.
That's taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
What else took place? Because I didn't even know. I'm kind of out of the loop.
I didn't do anything else besides go to different beaches every day.
Go to different beaches.
That was it.
And which one was the best?
There's this place called Anna Maria Island. Nikki would move there if I could. So I don't even need the horses, but I enjoyed it.
One thing I'm surprised by is when I saw the ocean horse pictures, you looked a little sunburned, but now you look fine.
Well, thanks to the lighting in this room, yes. No, I did get like a little sun poisoning on my my left leg. It was weird.
You didn't put the suntan lotion down there?
I did.
I'm sure you did.
And I remember the first night, I was like, I think we're in trouble.
You're like, this isn't good.
Yeah, just this weird part
After
of my
one day.
Yeah, weird part of my leg, and then that balanced out. So like a couple of days when I went to the beach, I was like, let's just wear like a towel. Let's cover that part of the leg, but it was fine.
Did you eat anything good?
Oh gosh.
Did you let loose a little bit on vacation? Because usually you stick to like a stricter diet.
No, it was pretty much the same.
That's me on vacation is I already don't eat very healthy, but then I eat even more unhealthy
worse
on a trip.
No, it was pretty good.
You kept it all on the up and up, huh?
If you're ever in Florida, there's this grocery store called Publix, and they have really good chicken, so I eat a lot of their chicken. That was it.
Sounds good.
That's as daring as it got.
I think that's one of the things we talked about while you were gone is food that you refuse to pay for at fast food restaurants, even though it might be good. And one of the ones we landed on was fried chicken. Yeah. Because it's a ripoff at a KFC, but you can get a better deal and oftentimes better chicken at a grogrocery store.
You can, absolutely.
You must have been listening.
I heard you guys in my heart.
She didn't listen for 1 minute.
No, I did go to, there's this other place called Slim Chickens.
Oh, I've seen headlines about that.
That was good. That was good too. I liked it.
Is that a chain?
Yeah, I don't know like how chain, like how big it is.
Because I've heard the name before.
It just was where I was at, but it's like a wing chicken place.
And that was good? Yeah,
it was good.
Anything else you need to get off your chest?
I don't think so. I missed everybody. Missed you guys.
Likely story. She's so sad she's back today. She's so glum.
If you think she sounds happy now, you should have heard her on vacation.
I did miss everybody, but boy, it sure was nice.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you back. And
you're just glad you don't have to run the board anymore.
Yep.
I'm so happy to have you back.
A lot less work for the both of us.
I know what it means.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
We have a guy on Reddit who he's got a pregnant wife. She's 8 months pregnant, so getting close to delivery time. They gotta pick out a name, and his wife has picked out the name. She picked out the name Charles after her brother, who unexpectedly passed away at the age of 35. Very sad, right?
Oh, so
she wants to honor him.
The name means a lot then.
Yeah, but so you might think, why would you not name the child Charles if it's a boy, right? Because their last name is Manson.
Nope, you can't do it.
You can't do it.
Nope, you can't do it.
You're anti that.
You're not allowed to.
Isaiah?
On behalf of the poor little child who grows up and has to deal with that, that's a no.
That's an immediate no for me as well.
You guys are going to do that? Listen to me. I think that it's about time we start taking back some of these names.
Some of the bad names?
Some of these bad names.
There's so many names, though. We got a lot of names.
Yeah, but why should one person get to ruin a whole name for everybody?
Well, then why don't they just change their last name?
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe that's an option. That is an option.
Or they could just name him maybe your brother's middle name.
Oh, that's a good one. Charlie?
My middle name's Samuel. You could just name if you want to name after me. Samuel it is.
Do you think they have any connection to you?
Well, I'm just saying if they wanted to. Samuel Manson sounds like a strong name.
I don't know. It still sounds kind of scary.
It does.
I think it's no matter what name you put in front of Manson.
Yeah.
I think it's the Manson part that people have the issue with.
That's true. They've made it this long without. The Manson murders were that was the 60s.
So is that the husband's name? So it's not like the brother had that name when he was okay. I gotcha.
We'd like to name him after our brother Charles Manson.
No, it's hers.
That would
different
be
one. It's a different one.
I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't. Because I think because to you guys and your family, it'll be like really meaningful for him to have that name. But every other person that he meets won't know that's the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And so they're immediately just going to think you're named after Charles Manson, which is a wild thing to be named after.
They could pick another first name, and then the middle name is Charles,
I considered
and then they just never tell anybody that.
That is an option. Or could you? Charles is one of those names that there's a million different alternatives for. He could be Chaz. He could be Chucky. He could be Chuck.
Oh my gosh, Chucky would be worse.
Chucky Manson?
Oh my God.
That sounds terrible.
You sound like you're just a horrible person.
Cash Manson.
That actually sounds
that sounds pretty cool. He could be like a rapper
name.
Or something. That's all. That would be awesome. See, you could name him Charles.
You should never name your son saying, "Well, if I give you this name, you could be a rapper one day." That's never a good name. Never a good choice.
Because then the same thing of you could be a killer.
Yeah.
It's Charles Manson.
I just don't think it's right. This is that old thing from Office Space. Why should we change? He's the one who sucks. Just because Charles Manson, the one that everybody thinks of, was horrible, doesn't mean that nobody else should be able to be named Charles Manson. There's nothing wrong with the name itself. It's everyone else that's the problem.
I think, you know what, I like that, like you're thinking. I think when you have a child, you should name it Hitler.
No.
If you want to reclaim names so bad, I think we just bring that one back.
Well, I'd have to actually like the name, though.
Oh, okay. So it's not that you like obviously it's just the name. It's quite for you.
Which is why I'm considering Adolf.
Yeah, there you go.
My first
now
child.
you're thinking.
I think it's a no on all of it. So I'm sorry to the family, but I just don't think you can.
Yeah, it's a tough one. What?
You just have another fight on something else, but this is not the battle to win.
What about this one, though? What if you do Charles, but he's one of those people that goes by 3 names. So he's like Charles Dean Manson.
No.
If you put the Dean in,
No.
it makes it clear that it's a different Manson.
Different person?
No,
Yeah.
because they always say if you have the 3 names and everybody says your 3 names, there's also going to be something wrong with you.
What?
Anybody in a news article that's just awful, they're always like, da, 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 the 3 names.
Like, imagine, Nikki, if you were going through resumes and you were like, Charles Manson.
No.
I think we're going to pass on that one.
No, thank
Next
you.
name.
So, yes, it's a no. We're just going to have to.
One last option. You use your middle initial as well.
Mm-hmm.
Charles C. Manson.
I can't be sure.
It
What even the regular Charles
definitely
Manson.
differentiates. It definitely differentiates.
I appreciate you trying to make the late brother's honor to be there, and it's not their fault, but it's also not going to work.
Just toss it in the middle name or use his middle name. Something else.
If you put it in the middle name, then it's like you're hiding it.
You should hide it. You should.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Nikki, you're our TikTok follower. As in, you keep track with all the TikToks that I don't see.
No,
what I did?
I spend most of my time on the For You stuff, so.
Yeah, so you catch all the viral stuff. You know what I did?
What?
I logged out of TikTok. I haven't logged into TikTok in 2 weeks.
Why not? You love it.
I don't really love it, though.
Yeah, but okay, you love posting stuff.
I know, but, Nene has taken over with posting the Riot stuff on the Riot's YouTube channel and TikTok and everything that he's got it so covered. I don't even need to post.
Well, then why don't you ask him to make your own stuff? So you can post it on yours.
I just want to keep everything concentrated.
Okay.
I don't want to,
flood the market.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to give too much content away. And what if people following me is actually taking away from people that could be following Radio U.
I don't know. I think we should risk it if you want to. But of course, Radio U official on TikTok.
Yeah, so Nene is definitely still posting for the riot, the same stuff that I probably would be posting.
But
except
you're not
edited
on
more.
your personal stuff.
Yeah, so I'm missing all this stuff. But what I did see is, and I don't know if you caught this, the guy in New Jersey fed up with paying rent because rent is it's too dang high. He was paying $1,800 a month, and it's just him. Mm-hmm. So what are you gonna do? You could get a roommate and then have like an uncomfortable situation, or you could do what this man did and turn your SUV into a home.
I saw this one. He converted his car, his SUV, into his house.
His name is Arslan Shono. He's a medical technologist, and normally, if you said you were living out of your car, that would be a pretty sad situation.
But that was popular. I mean, the stigma with it has changed.
Yeah, if you actually,
depending on which cities you live in.
that's right. If you can keep everything organized and like comfortable, you can do okay. It looks like, at least if you're doing it like Arslan Shono did. He says that he's done this now for 9 months, and he has saved $16,200 in rent that he would have paid.
That's a great idea.
Now, I don't know if he says, does he give away exactly how much it cost him to convert his Chevy Suburban into...
No, I mean, he's converted it, but boy, it's a lot less than like if you see someone convert a van.
Yeah.
I would want a van at this point. This is really tight. There's not a lot of space in there.
It definitely is tight quarters. He does have a toilet in there, and the toilet, like, when you can do anything from the toilet, you know that you're in tight living quarters.
It's the toilet, your kitchen space, the bed. It's all there, but it's not bad. And I mean, that saves him a lot of money.
That's right. He says again that he saved $16,000 by not paying rent over 9 months. There's no chance that it cost him $16,000 to put this all together. So now the other thing though is, even a Chevy Suburban is pretty large as far as vehicles go. So if you've got anything tiny, or even me with I've got a Jeep Patriot.
You can't get this all in there.
I don't think I would be able to live as comfortably, even if it's just me, in a Jeep Patriot. But
it looks nice if you can do it. I mean, it is. He even has a sink in there.
Yeah, it is inspiration. He's got it looks like a cooktop. He's got
some cabinets.
He's got a seat for a passenger if somebody wants to tag along. So he's doing okay in there. It is inspirational that you think. You have to think of creative ways to save money with everything just going up and up and up.
You know what the next step is, though, right?
What's that?
If you were really trying to save money, get a roommate for your SUV.
If he was a real entrepreneur, he just rents out the SUV.
Airbnb.
Yeah, and then that pays for his rent.
Well, he has, I guess, some other options to save money, but why not? I mean, you could, and for a lot of people too, it's just, yes, you could pay $1,800 a month for rent.
Yeah.
But it's just you're annoyed at paying someone that much money,
right,
when you know that the space is not worth that.
That's exactly right.
They're taking advantage
tough
of a lot of people.
And you know that one of the tough things that I just thought of if I was in this situation is where would you park it?
You have to just move it around.
Because you'd be tempted to just leave it at work, but I would not want to do that.
Well,
I'm not going to be living in the work parking lot here at Radio U.
It's the other W. Walmart.
Walmart.
Everybody stays at Walmart.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Were you staying on top of the Masters this weekend?
I knew it was yesterday because for some reason, just random people will be like, yes, I'm at home watching the Masters. I was like, what are you doing? But it's golf, right?
Yeah, it's arguably the biggest golf tournament of them all every year. I think it's
more popular than we realize.
Yeah, they do a good job promoting it. And
is it always Easter or no? It just happens.
It's always right around this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends where Easter falls. The Masters is more consistent than Easter.
Is that the green jacket?
That's the green jacket. And the green jacket went to John Rahm. He got his Masters victory yesterday. Isaiah, did you get to see any of that?
I watched the whole thing pretty much.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched a lot of the Masters over the weekend. That was relaxing a lot. So I watched yesterday his final like 8 holes probably. So I watched a good amount of it.
I also watched a lot of Masters, but yesterday, it was Easter, doing other stuff, and it became clear at one point or another that Jon Rahm was going to win. So then I was like, whatever, I'll just turn this
Is he
off.
like really well known? I mean, obviously he's good. He won the Masters, but I feel like he's not a name to me yet.
He's not quite there where like he's not a household name, but this year on tour he's been really good.
He has been one of the top, definitely one of the top 5 guys for the last couple of years, and so he finally gets the Masters win.
What's he look like? Jon Rahm.
Good beard.
Good
He does have
beard?
Real solid
he's got a
beard.
big beard, yeah.
Yeah. Dresses nice. So he got the Masters win. It didn't look like going into, would you say, the third round? Brooks Koepka was in the lead and had a pretty sizable lead for a little while. It looked like he was going to kind of run away with it. But then the weather turned, and that, I don't know if that threw him off his game or what, but Jon Rahm came storming back.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. But did you also see the weather seriously was a factor, because during some of the Masters, there was winds blowing hard enough to blow down actual sizable trees on the course.
Was that Saturday's thing? Where the tree fell down on people? Guess who's really the winners of the
I think
Masters?
it was on Friday. It was on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. It narrowly missed. I don't know how people didn't get.
I'd be suing the Masters.
Yeah,
I know.
That was. I mean, it is crazy too, because you've got a wind strong enough to blow down probably like 100-year-old trees. They look like, and people were still out on the course like golfing. Like, how can you play golf in those conditions?
I don't know. But the tree fell over. And, I mean, that was the big stuff because they stopped all the tournament that day.
Yep, they did.
They postponed everything. And then when they came back, also Tiger Woods, he had made the cut. And then once they returned from the weather delay, he was like, nah, I'm good.
You didn't want to play anymore?
He was pretty having a hard time.
Yeah, I was saying his.
He was limping around.
You could blame it on the weather.
Yes.
But at that point, you don't want to go back.
He was moving very gingerly.
They'd taken a turn for the worse. So did you predict on Thursday
Yep.
that Jon Rahm would win?
I did. He was one of. This is what I did.
You didn't bet on it, did you?
I gave 4 options.
No.
I gave 4 options.
He did give 4.
did?
He gave the 4 out of the 5 favorites.
No, I gave 3. I know I didn't. I said Rory McIlroy.
Okay.
One of the favorites.
I said Jon Rahm.
One of the other favorites.
Well, he won, didn't he?
He did win.
There he did, oddly enough. And then I said Jordan Spieth as well. And I said if you want somebody else,
Yeah.
you could do Max Homa.
Oh.
And everyone except for Rory made the cut. So,
Did you
and
bet
then
on the
John
tree?
won. But I did not bet on the tree. Unfortunately, I did not bet on the tree.
I just don't want to come out and find out that you lost anything on the Masters.
No.
Yeah, no, he did. We did all right.
We did pretty good.
Yeah, we had a solid showing at the Masters as well, even though we weren't there. So, a good weekend of golf.
Good.
Yeah.
And Jon Rahm was the winner?
Jon Rahm, get to know that name, because this probably won't be his last win.
It looks like he looks good in green. So.
He does look good in
right.
green.
He does have a nice beard.
I feel like everyone looks good in that green jacket.
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
Now, I've heard a lot of people over the past lifetime complaining that service at restaurants isn't what it used to be.
Sure.
That you go in somewhere, whether it's fast food or whether it's a sit-down place, and it just doesn't seem like the workers care enough. They don't treat you well enough. You're just not sure. And you just don't feel like you're getting the level of service that you deserve.
Well, I also feel like there's not enough people at the places.
Yeah.
So even if they don't mean for it to be a poor
Right.
experience, there's just not enough crew
They can
to
only do
make
so
it.
much.
Yeah. So you're not like mad that they're being mean to you, but it's just a lot longer and it's more of a hassle.
Yeah, they're exhausted. They're
Looking at
stretched
you,
too
Wendy's.
thin. Yeah, exactly. But what if I told you that it might be partly your fault as well?
Well, how's it your
When you
fault?
get bad service.
You're there to order and hopefully you're nice.
Yeah, you should be, but you should also, if you want good service, you've got to think about how you're dressed when you go out to a restaurant. Because I have some research here from South Korea, where University of Missouri, where they had a Korean person in charge of the study, who they went ahead and figured out that servers judge you as soon as they see what you're wearing. This is like more of a subliminal thing, but they judge you based off of what you're wearing. So if you're just super casually
They're not
coming
gonna.
in, yeah, they're going to assume that you're not going to tip as much.
Yeah.
But if you come in dressed all nice, they're going to think that person's going to give me a big tip. I got to ramp up my service to make sure that I get a really good tip from these
No,
folks.
because this is like every one of those cliche shows where that happens, and then the person that they expected to tip the most gives nothing, and the one that was like ordering water and bread and was like expected to be the nothing table gives them like $100.
Yeah, that's because you know how somebody dresses real nice by saving up their money by not tipping.
Yeah, that's how you have the money.
Yeah, but even that being the case, that's not what, according to this study, that's not what the servers think.
Yeah.
So you can still tip your standard amount, but if you dress the nicest you dress, you can expect to get better service from the people that are serving you.
Well, I see
so you can
this-
really manipulate them, take advantage of them by dressing nicely.
I see this study, and it does make sense. It totally makes sense. But what do they say for those of us that don't go into places? But you're getting maybe not the same service like through the drive-through or like pickup.
I do think that if you go, drive-through,
They can't see how you're dressed then.
Yeah, they can't. And if you were dressed really nice, from being someone at Panera, is kind of fast food. And if somebody came in dressed real nice, would be like, look at this guy.
And there's no tipping, so
that's right.
That's probably why.
They don't need to amp up their service. They're probably just going to judge you for being dressed nice. Here's a suggestion I have that seems to have worked well for me at drive-thrus. Have your dog with you.
Oh, that is smart.
People, drive-thru workers always love seeing the dog in your passenger seat. And a lot of times they'll give you free stuff. And they can be like, here, this is for the dog. But you can still eat it if you want.
You can have it.
That's what I usually do. If they give me a dog fries, I'll just eat them.
Tim, thanks for texting in. He says he can confirm this strategy is true. Like for delivery drivers, the more richer the neighborhood is, the higher the order is going to be. But Tim, does that mean they tip better in the richer neighborhoods? Because I don't think they do.
I think if you're going to a richer neighborhood, they're more likely, even if they tip the same percent, they might be ordering more expensive food. So you still get a percentage of that expensive food, so you're still doing okay.
I guess I'm just looking for the same low experience no matter where I go, the same horrible experience.
How can we standardize it?
Yeah, I just want it to be as low as possible, not good food.
Wolves at the gate.
And they're mad at you.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
I want to talk about dating. When you're on a dating app, it's always, I think, hard to figure out when to go from talking on a dating app to actually, okay, let's meet up in person.
Yeah.
It's helpful that the fine folks at the dating app Hinge have come up with a term for that limbo that you find yourself in sometimes. They call it the phone zone.
Phone zone?
Yeah, it's pretty clever, isn't it?
Like friend zone, but phone zone?
Pretty much, yeah, same deal.
The phone zone where you got to leave the phone zone and make it actually something real in person. And a lot of people seem to struggle with making that step.
So instead of your relationship being conversations on your phone back and forth, you actually do go out on a in-person date.
Yes. Now
that sounds scary.
It is. It's a big step. So let me ask you, we may have alluded to this before, but how long do you think is an appropriate time frame to go from first message or talking for a little bit to let's plan a date in person?
I think that's kind of the main point of why you're talking to them in the first place.
That is.
So I assume like a week or so.
A week?
Yeah, don't
Isaiah,
you think?
I think second message.
Second message.
And I'm being dead serious. I'm not even joking. I'm being dead serious. I think it's second message.
That's a big jump. How can you even know if you want to meet them in person?
For me personally, I don't think that texting is going to get you anywhere. Because you can text and you can be awesome over text, but until you meet in person, then you don't know if it's going to. So why would I waste my time texting you for like a month to wait to meet you in person to realize that we're not a match? We have bad chemistry.
If it's been so long, that's actually a red flag of like, well, why can't we meet in person?
Exactly.
Are you embarrassed about me? You haven't even met me.
Exactly. And so like I think that if we match, that means like, okay, there's some sort of like physical attraction there. We both find each other attractive. Do our personalities match? That's the big question. And I just don't think that you can figure that out over the phone. And so for me, I'm not a big like keep on texting you for like a month guy to find out that we aren't a match. So I'll ask you right away, be like, do you want to get drinks sometime or do you want to do something? And then I can weed out if I'm going to waste my time or not. If they're like kind of like, oh, I don't know, then I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't someone who's actually wanting to hang out or meet in person. If so, maybe we shouldn't continue communicating.
Some people just like the attention of
Yes,
having a bunch of
exactly.
people message
Sure.
them, but they say that 62% of Hinge daters feel ready to schedule a date after 3 days of chatting. A third, 34%, plan a date within 3 days.
Yeah, so people get to that. I think the problem is, even though many people, the majority of people, after 3 days feel like, okay, we should set something up, a lot of times people are just too timid to want to go ahead and take that next step. So definitely don't be afraid after 3 days, but it's a meet in the middle, because Nikki said a week. Isaiah said second message. It's right in between.
And it's like different too for like guys to girls too. Because for me, yet again, I'm not afraid to go meet a random girl or whatever. Because I'm not afraid that I'm gonna get like taken or something. Where for a woman, it's
Stranger
very
danger.
different. You know, it's a different thing.
It's definitely a different experience.
Well, they say if you're not ready to move on from the phone zone, perhaps you can do a virtual date in between.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That sounds
I don't
horrible.
think a FaceTime's terrible.
No, that's a disaster.
I don't think
do
it's a bad idea to FaceTime. I don't think that's a terrible idea.
I think if you, granted, I've never been on a virtual date, but like part of going out on a date makes everybody way more comfortable. If you're like going to FaceTime them from your bedroom or something, then you've got to worry about the background.
Sure.
And what if there's an awkward lull in conversation? That doesn't mean you guys don't work out, but it's just an awkward venue to have that conversation.
I can see that too, but basically we're just saying give it about 3 days, and then you should be meeting up at that point, or
That's
at least
right.
scheduling the meetup, and then they can ghost you, and that's a normal date.
Or you
so.
can just match with Isaiah, and he's going to ask you after two messages.
That
That's
seems
what I'll do.
aggressive.
That's what I'll do.
And if not,
you're not about it, you
Man.
know what? You're not going to waste my time.
He's dropping you.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
What is the first thing that comes to mind when I say monster?
Monster? Scary.
Scary?
Yeah.
I need you to continue going with that.
Continue going. Like a movie, monster movie. Like
and in
Godzilla.
that monster movie, what happened? Okay, Godzilla.
Something like that, like a big thing.
So you don't think of the energy drink first.
Oh, no, I don't. I just don't drink energy drinks, though. But you're right.
I rest my case.
Is Monster trying to lay claim to?
Yes. Here's something that you might not know about the Monster Energy Drink Company. They suck.
They do?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Eric drinks those.
They've developed a reputation that has been brought back to light recently for basically all kinds of frivolous lawsuits for anything that ever includes the word monster in the title, whether it's obviously if it was related to energy drinks, that makes sense. But they have become notorious for going after video games and all kinds of other stuff for including monster or monsters in the title.
Monster Energy Drink went after Monster Hunter.
They
the
went
game.
after Monster Hunter.
Even I know the two are not the same.
That is correct. Most people, I'd say almost everybody, if you hear Monster Hunter, I've heard of the game. I've never played it, but I never, in hearing of it, have ever thought, oh, that's the game where you hunt for crappy energy drinks?
Yeah.
No. Nobody thinks that. But they actually have tried suing Monster Hunter. They also, in Japan, I don't know if everybody knows this, Pokemon is a portmanteau of pocket monsters.
Yeah.
And so in Japan, there are still often referred to as pocket monsters. And so Monster sued Pokemon for putting pocket monsters as the name of some of their games.
Even though, wouldn't Pokemon have come out before Monster?
I would have thought, wouldn't you? But not the new games.
Oh,
though.
yeah. Every time a game comes out, they go after them for something. Let's see. Monster Hunter, we mentioned. Monster Hunter Generations. Monster Strike, which is a mobile game. They've all been sued by Monster.
Now, most of the time, it sounds like not a lot comes of it. But if you go back to 2020, Ubisoft had to change the name of one of their games. They were going to put out a game called Gods and Monsters, which it's not a game about gods and energy drinks. It's a game about gods and a monster, like different kinds of monsters. But they had to change it. They just went ahead and decided it's less trouble to just call it Immortals Phoenix Rising than call it Gods and Monsters and deal with the whole lawsuit playing out with Monster Energy Drink. And that's just a few of the many instances. Now, there's a recent one. The reason it's back in the news is because they sue companies big and small over this.
This is why. I forgot who owns Monster Energy Drinks.
Yeah.
It's Coca-Cola.
It's Coca-Cola.
They're suing people.
And they went after back in March, an indie video game developer because they have a game coming out called Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals. And when you hear that name, you think, there must be energy drinks involved.
No, in fact, it doesn't even cross your mind.
It doesn't. You don't even think of it. But they have gone off to this video game company, which it sounds like the agreement has been reached that this video game company, this indie game, they can make this game and call it what it is.
Yeah.
But they can't ever use Monster again in any of their titles.
So they're saying, is this the right time to cancel Monster Energy? No, but they are bringing out, like, maybe promoting a company that uses such big bullying techniques.
Yeah.
Might not be the best if you're given a choice of energy drinks.
It's just hurting.
They want them to stop doing that.
It's frivolous either way, and the bigger companies can deal with it, even though it's annoying. But the smaller companies, that's a real big problem for them.
Yeah, it's not nice to see when Coca-Cola can take out anybody.
Yeah.
But like that's not, if they're going after independent companies, that's not fair.
Yeah, it's just annoying and frivolous. So Monster maybe needs to dial it back a little bit. I'll show you who the real monsters are.
It's our money that we choose to give. And
Monster has become synonymous with energy drinks.
they're being that way. That's not cool.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
The NBA regular season, it came to a close. Means tomorrow we get the start of the NBA playoffs, or kind of, it's the play-in to the playoffs.
How do you guys keep track of all that?
Well, when something's important to you,
then you do?
you pay attention to it.
Just feels like there's lots of layers to it.
There are lots of layers.
It's a lot of games, a lot of teams, a lot of players, a lot of numbers, and we keep track of them all.
What do you think I do at work all day? Obviously.
And we appreciate you using your work time to do all that.
Keep up with the show.
If you didn't do that, then how would we have this discussion right now?
Well, I was thinking you had the Masters yesterday and that.
Yeah, it was a lot to watch. But yesterday, the Minnesota Timberwolves, their team, I thought had a lot of potential going into the playoffs because they can up their game on defense, I think, when the playoff time rolls around. They have some good defenders. But problem is that yesterday, in their final game of the season against the New Orleans Pelicans, things got a little testy for the Timberwolves, and they had not one, but two different players on the team start punching stuff.
Why?
Including another player on the team.
Were they mad or?
The emotions were running high.
You don't punch for any other reason, so they were just mad at each other.
They were happy, and it was like, hey, and they punched a guy in the face. One of the players, Rudy Gobert, he was the star player they traded for this past offseason.
Some star.
Is he not good? Or?
He's okay.
He took a swing at Kyle Anderson.
Another player?
Yeah,
on his own team.
On his own team,
Okay,
yes.
but Isaiah, imagine like you're the coach and Rudy Gobert does this and you could just yell at him, Rudy, go home!
Rudy, go home!
Instead of Rudy Gobert because he's in trouble.
That's exactly what happened. Rudy Gobert was sent home. So that's one problem enough. And then going into halftime, one of their other great defenders, Jaden McDaniels, another guy they just traded for, he punched a wall. And he punched it so hard he was kept out of the rest of the game because he injured his hand.
Why are they so mad?
He fractured his hand. He's going to be out probably for the entire playoffs.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So really a 1-2 punch for the Timberwolves.
Are they mad they're in Minnesota? Are they mad they're on the team? Or?
I don't know what's wrong with them. It's not like if they won yesterday, it would have changed their fate.
Oh, okay.
They would have been in the exact same position no matter what.
They did still win yesterday.
Oh, they did still win?
Even with all this trouble. So, but yeah, it doesn't change anything that's going to happen with them at all. The game didn't. It was semi-inconsequential. But nevertheless, they just couldn't keep their emotions in check. And now, heading into the playoffs, they're shorthanded and just feels like a lot of tension on the team,
First, they'd
too.
appreciate if you not bring hands into that.
Yeah.
And second, it feels like they need a team counselor or
They do.
mediator or someone to tell them to not fight when they're mad.
They need something.
They also need some more wins. So for them,
The therapist can't help with that.
no.
I think hope is dwindling in Minnesota. They do play the Lakers tomorrow night. They have to face LeBron and Anthony Davis and crew in Los Angeles. So probably going to be the end of the road for Minnesota, you would think.
Well, too bad. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, just crazy. Especially you go 81 games, nobody's punching anything. In the 82nd, that's when you decide to let it loose right before the playoffs.
So if you punch the wall and you hurt your own hand and you're out for the playoffs,
Yeah.
So do you think your team can take things away, like some of your money or something?
You would think.
I mean,
I would be
it
like, well,
wasn't
we're
an
not paying
accident.
you.
Yeah,
What the heck
we're-
is wrong with you?
You should get in some sort of financial difficulties
Yes.
from that or a fine.
Here's a great question. What do you think is dumber, punching your teammate and not getting injured, or punching the wall,
Punching the wall
nobody?
I think punching the wall. Me
Yeah.
too. That's never. Every time someone's ever punched something during a game, they've always hurt their hand. Every time. It's the dumbest thing ever. It makes you look like you're throwing this big hissy fit. Like, don't punch things, you
And
big
what did
baby.
the wall even do to you?
You're right.
It's not the wall's fault.
Nope. And again, there are lots of opportunities for some growth player-wise,
That's right.
it feels like, for them.
They will in the off season
That's
here in
right.
about 2 nights.
You're going to have a nice long off season to think about it.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.